Hi, so what you see here is the end result of me switching out my cracked undermount. So you can see this is my new Kohler undermount. So this is made of vitreous china. So I'm going to go through all my struggles and also the step-by-step of some of the photos I took of how I took out the undermount. Now, the hardest part was really the piping. So the reason for that is because the pipe and drain is not going to align to the original. So you're going to have to redo some of the piping underneath. Usually that will be the case. So you'll see this that and you're probably thinking, what the hell is that? So that is my use of a simple drain. Now, if you look a little bit closer, the new undermount did not align in like 2 out of the 3 axes. So it was off by maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, but at the same time, I didn't want to redo the copper piping at the bottom just yet, so I used the simple drain as a replacement. So I'm going to go through all my struggles and step by step of how I did it, and let's go ahead and go through that. Yes, so what you see there is my horrible patchwork there. So in any case, the first step you want to do is actually measure the width and actually you want to measure the diameter, which is the short side and across the long side, and make sure that, because most of these are going to be ovals, just to make sure that they match the one that you're going to get. Now what I did was I went to Home Depot, the website, or even websites like buildit.com, and I downloaded the instruction manuals that also has the exact measurements. So it will show you the the two diameters, the short side and the long side. And so in my case, you'll notice that it is an extra 1/2 inch deeper inset. So the good thing about that is that I'm able to adjust it. It's not going to be perfect. So the particular one I got was this Kohler, and it was called Caxton. And I did that after I downloaded the instructions, looked at the measurements, and I actually opened the box just to make sure that nothing was cracked. And it often is not perfect in the store, so you do want to make sure you don't buy a cracked one. So this is how the new one looks, the underside of it, and the hole for the drain is not going to align perfectly unless you get the same exact model. So the first thing I did was take pictures of the bottom of the old one just to make sure that the positions were where I expected, where the clips are, how the clips are, stuff like that, just so you could go back and you could look at how it was when you are stumped or stuck on certain things. It's hard to predict. So you could see that I took very detailed pictures of all of the clips, and here are the new clips, and also just comparing the new clips to the old one just to make sure that they're basically the same. I also did some close-ups here just to give you a look of the clips themselves. Now the clips are going to hold the majority of the weight of the new undermount. So the other thing I'm looking for is what is holding the undermount together. So in addition to the clips, you could see that around the undermount there is transparent caulk there. So the caulk actually acts like glue in my case, because there was a lot of suction effect because of the transparent caulk, and that actually stuck the undermount together pretty strongly. So what I have here is a Home Depot Anvil stiff putty knife. So the putty knives come in both flexible and stiff. You want to get the stiff one, and I will have this link in the description area of the video, this particular one I got. Now notice the starting point. I put this in the middle of the diameter of the undermount, and the reason for that is I want to start where the clips aren't. So if you remember before with pictures, the clips are in the 4 corners. So I don't want to start in the 4 corners because that's where the tightest tension is between where the clip clamps the undermount. So I started right in the middle and I work my way around. And sometimes even the corners where the clips are is gonna be a little bit too tight, but you're just gonna jam it in and you're gonna work at an angle. So you could see my putty knife is at an angle right there, and I keep on just jamming it around until I loosen up everything. So if you look underneath, I have a picture here of just where the putty knife sticks out under the undermount. So you can see the putty knife there is cutting into the caulk, which acts as the glue, or you might just have adhesive there, and that's what's loosening up. Now this takes about a good 15 to 20 minutes and is really the core of the entire work, is just working your way around, jamming it through, and you know, all the way through basically the 360 oval, and everything just loosens up. And at this point, the only thing that's holding it together is not the adhesive or caulk, but actually just the clips themselves. So, you know, that's really it for the undermount. So after that, I loosen the 4 brackets under the undermount, and I don't remove the brackets, I simply loosen them. Now, even after loosening the brackets and twisting them out of the way, now you have to take out the drain. So what you're going to do here is basically loosen the drain. So there's usually a nut at the bottom here, and you're just going to loosen that. And once you loosen that, everything just comes apart. Now, if at this angle, you could see you still have to loosen that other piece that goes down to the main piping. So after you do that, it wiggles out, and you know, the whole entire thing comes out. Now you can see here I have the old undermount out, and you can see all the scrapes that I have with the putty knife there when I'm doing all of the pushing at an angle, just to give you an idea of all the glue and the caulk that's right there. So the other thing I wanted to show is just that the putty, the old putty that I used to kind of repair the porcelain, didn't actually work. So you could see here there's a bunch of just cracks at the bottom, and you could see that it's just continually cracking, which is why I decided to simply replace it with the new Kohler vitreous china. So this is going to be a little bit abrupt. So here I basically completed the project. You can see the new Kohler undermount, and it's perfect. The logo is perfectly in the center. So the reason why I don't have much pictures is that it was pretty straightforward. You just put it in, you know, clip it on. If you want to put adhesive at the edge, you could go ahead. Here I put caulk, like transparent caulk, all the way around. So you could barely see it. It's a very thin bead there. So also that, you know, worked great. Now the hard part was not actually the undermount, but actually the piping that was off by, you know, a couple of millimeters here and there. So that, I put in a temporary fix. So even with this, there was a lot of leaks because it was off by those couple of not centimeters, but even millimeters. So I could not use this rigid plastic one. In my case, I used a flexible drain called Simple Drain. So I'll also have this in the description area of the video. You could see, you know, this is clamped down, and if you really look very carefully, what you'll find is that it's off by those 2 millimeters. But for the short term, I'll have that in there. I also tested this out by also filling it with water, you know, several times, making sure that that simple drain kept in place. Now, a longer term, what I'm going to do is actually fix the copper piping and, you know, make it a little bit more proper instead of using the simple drain. And so the simple drain's actually not up to code, but it's a good stopgap. So that allows you to use the sink versus, you know, having everything perfect, you know, driving to the store back and forth and stuff like that, and not even having basically the drain to use and the sink to use. So that was a good stopgap, because, and you do want to buy that basically ahead of time, because chances are is that your new undermount will not fit your original piping unless you want to just do the piping at the bottom all the way through. So you might want to start early and give yourself, you know, an extra 2-3 hours of doing the piping properly and the S-trap and all of that properly if you have the copper, or if even if you have PVC. So all right, that's really it. You know, ask me any questions in the comment area. I'll respond usually in a day or so. But that's really it. That's really what I wanted to share, and I hope this helps, you know, a little bit. And good luck with your project, and thank you so much for watching. And please subscribe, support my channel. It's a, you know, really small channel, you know, so thank you so much, and good luck with your project.